If you are hunting trouble, lad, you found it!
Hello, and welcome to a new video. In this video, I'm going to be doing an unboxing and review of the Warhammer 40k Ultimate Starter Set, along with the two paint sets, one being for 40k and the other being for Age of Sigmar, that have been gifted to me recently. And I wanted to check them out. I'll do an unboxing, maybe build one or two of the figures just to, give you an idea of what they're like, and do a review in a separate section at the end of the video. So let's get started on this. Let me remove the big white foam that I put in the way. And yeah, here it is. Very nice looking box. Not really a new fan of the newer Warhammer 40k logo, but it's fine enough. The Age of Sigmar Paint Plus Tools set, which has 13 paints, clippers, a brush, and a mold line remover. The 40k Paint Plus Tools, which has the same, but more for 40k colors, specifically for this box set. And I'll try to only paint them with contents from both of these boxes. Let's keep it Citadel instead of using any of the other Vallejo paints I had looked at previously, along with some Astra Granite for the bases, and one of each of the different paintbrush types that were available at Games Workshop, along with a spacular for the base material too, if that would focus. Yeah, texture brush. Don't want that to fall down. So let's get on to the main event, and this is a rather heavy box, the Ultimate Starter Set. Don't want to break anything. Try to get into it here. A very large box insert. I think the largest box insert I've ever seen. I haven't actually had a starter set, and like a real Warhammer starter set, in years and years. So I'm very curious as to what it looks like inside of it. And like a lot of gray plastic apparently. So let me take a look through this. There is some, it shows up, Termagant sprues. You get about 2 squads of 10, I think, with some extra Ripper Swarms. Another sprue of Termagants. One of the Terminator sprues, which I don't really like that newer sort of thing they do where it's like fake multi-part. It's kind of very annoying to like kit bash, the last time I did actually get an official set. And they don't really have many options either, and not many options for posing, and that's kind of annoying. And the Lictor sprue. The Hellbringers, I think it's called, or Firebringers sprue for the Space Marines. The Space Marine HQ, which is a guy in Terminator armor with a big power axe. Some of the newer barb shooters, or whatever they're called, Tyranids. Some more stuff, which I think, is there 2 commanders in this box for Space Marines, or is this just the second one of his sprue? I don't really know. And some winged Tyranid, which I do not know the name of. Let's see that. They're nice details, though, I will give them that. And then the heavy support Terminator, which I also don't really know the name of. Not Terminator, excuse me, Tyranid. Not Terminator. But, yeah. So, it's very oddly shaped, too, this sprue. Is it supposed to look kind of warped? I don't know. It might have been like a factory error, or it is just supposed to be this wacky looking either one. Either or. And then a massive ton of thick, pure plastic terrain. Like, I have not seen this much plastic terrain in my entire life. You know, I always had to, like, build it from scratch and stuff. Never really got any, like, actual terrain kits. A bunch of walls, which I don't think it really justifies the price increase from the $110 all the way to like $235, I think it is. I'm not really too keen on that. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I mean, yeah, this is a lot of plastic, right? But like, you could just, you know, I don't know, maybe have smaller terrain. I think another annoying thing is that the newest Tyranids combat patrol is the Tyranids content of this box. So like, if you wanted to get like a Tyranid army without having to manually build, you know, and if you got this set too, then like, you would have a double of that. And here's some art with, I think these are supposed to be tokens. Yeah, these are supposed to be tokens you can cut out on the side, which I don't know what's the purpose of that. Like, why not just give regular cardboard tokens? And some more art. This is just the Space Marines. Two bases, which I assume are for the Terminator leaders, probably. Rules pack. We'll get to that in a minute. Whole lot of bases of varying sizes, which I don't understand why they just didn't put them in with the other one. White dice, very small white dice. The base for the Tyranid heavy support. Two range rulers, which I actually really like. I think the wiffle sticks were like really iconic, like the red rods they used to use in the older sets. But I think these are better functionally and visually. Also more convenient than using a tape measure and having to measure every single inch. A big transfer sheet, which I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really seen many people using transfers lately. Most people just do custom chapters and then freehand, which I think looks the best, honestly, if I'm gonna be honest. And the final contents of the box are the hard. Oh, this is actually chipboard. I thought this was gonna be a matte initially when I saw the preview images of this. Thought it was going to be a matte initially, but no, it's actually chipboard, which is actually honestly very nice. That is a very good choice on their part. So I'll be back in a minute and cut open these rules. So back with the core rules, which is in a very small book, which I think is probably an improvement over having a massive book that takes up most of the box and makes the set cost $270, like I think it was Indomitus. The basic startup guide, data sheets and unit abilities, strategic reserves, train features, muster your army, combat patrol, basic information and stuff, transports, how they work, inflicting damage. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's just the core rules of the game, not much else. And then a handbook, which I don't really know what this is for. Could be for. Let me take a look at it real quick. Hold on. Oh, it's just a basic introductory guide on how to build the kits, how to build Warhammer kits in general. Saying where to clip and where to put the parts together at. Which these kits are very simple. I'm pretty sure they're snap fit actually. I don't think you really need glue specifically to put these together, which I think is something that should be done, you know, with starter sets though. But I'm just not really a fan of how they did it, and they made it very, very anti-conversion, very anti-modularity. It's like they really should just go back to the older style, you know, back when all the main adventure kits were modular and not, you know, not set number of poses, monopose, because like you're paying a premium for this. Like this set right here, I think was what, 256 after tax from a Games Workshop. And just the data sheets. So yeah, there is 2 HQ. There's a captain and a librarian. I thought there was only one, but I guess not. I don't know. I don't really think the forces are particularly well balanced. Personally, at least. Oh, that's what the name of the new units are called. They're called Barbgots. Okay, that's interesting. Von Ryan's Leapers, which I don't know what makes them normal, different from regular ones, like statistically or otherwise. Comes with Ripper Swarms, yeah. Flesh Borers, even though I think the actual box set for the Termagants come with new special weapons, which are actually in the original 90s metal kit when they first came out, but they only just now brought them back. So there's Terminator squads, an Infernus squad, which I'm not really a fan of that. I feel like they could have just done, you know, maybe because they didn't want to make the box bigger or whatever, but they could have just done like two squads of 5 intercessors even, and I feel like it would have been better as an actual balanced game compared to what it is right now, you know. So let's look at the Paint Plus Tools set. I'm only going to be opening this one because there's no reason to really open up the Age of Sigmar one. The contents are just going to be identical, but you know, it's different paints. Brush and the mold iron remover, which is actually a very handy tool. Gets rid of those pesky mold lines. The clippers, which are always super cheap. I feel like dollar store clippers do a better job, but you know, it works fine enough for somebody just making the starter kit. There's just this small assembly of paints you get here. Decent enough for painting them up. And specifically the ultramarine styles and the Tyranid styles that are on the box specifically. I apologize, I don't really know names. I'm a big fan of Warhammer. Do not keep track of chapter names and things like that. For Age of Sigmar, just get a different paint selection. Bugman's Glow, some of the Orc Flesh, Rod Oxide, Cantor Blue, which might be useful because I'm probably going to use this paint and paint in anything that isn't ultramarine, because I'm not the biggest fan of ultramarines. I think it's a very boring color scheme, personally. Finally, just the brushes. Shade brush, which, I don't know, maybe it's just got looser bristles or something, but it looks like a pretty standard large brush to me. But, you know, if it works for shades, you know, it works. And the base applying brush, texture brush, which I used to use just a regular junk brush, but I guess this would help more as a speckle. This feels really cheap, by the way. Like, I don't think it should be bending like that. Maybe to help apply textures better, but it just feels like, it just feels very, very cheap. Ugh. No, I'm not exactly gonna complain though. Like I said, I did get this absolutely free and no cost to myself at all. So let me put together just two of the figures, one of the Termagants and one of the Space Marines, and I will get back to this.
Later.
Alrighty, I'm done assembling the two initial figures, and yeah, this is how they've turned out. The Termagant with flesh bore. I made sure to remove the mold lines too, so it took about 10 minutes total, I think, to assemble both of these and remove the mold lines. And the member of the Infernus squad, which I'm not really a big fan of Primaris personally. I don't really like the scale creep. It just feels like an excuse to give you less models for more money compared to how Warhammer used to be. But that's it for the models, you know, at least two of the basic models. So I'm going on to the next section of the video, which is the review section, which will be an encompassing review of this, but not the paints. I feel like the paints are pretty self-explanatory. Citadel is good enough paints. Prices for them are kind of pretty bad. You don't really get a variety in kits. I think there's only like 4 starter kits, and 2 of them, like half of them, are literally just, you know, one for the Marine and one for the Tyranids, but you get all of the paints present in both of those inside of the singular paint kit, which I think is ridiculous, and it shouldn't really be done like that, but yeah. Anyway, on to the review section. I'll be scoring everything on a 1 to 5 scale using my patented Scrumpy meter, because, you know, I love my bottle of Scrumpy. Then my man loves a Scrumpy. Alrighty then. Alrighty then, on to the review section of the video. The first category is gonna have to be value/price, which is, yeah, not gonna be very good for either. You only get, I think, 1 more sprue of miniatures compared to the $110 starter set that doesn't have all the terrain on it, excuse me. And it's not even that many more. I think the mass amount of terrain, even though this is an ultimate starter set, is just kind of unnecessary. And if they wanted to make it more affordable while also keeping it functional, they should have just made it like cardboard terrain. You know, like how they had in some of the older editions and stuff like that. I think the actual quantity of miniatures too on the Space Marine side is pretty pitiful. I feel like you should have gotten at least 1 more squad. It feels like there's something missing, you know. So the Scrumpy score for the value/price is gonna be a 2 out of 5, 2 Scrumpy out of 5. On to the next category, which is quality, which the quality though is pretty good. I mean, the sculpts are very crisp, but they aren't really covered in any like mysterious factory goo, to my knowledge. It doesn't seem like, compared to some of the older Warhammer kits I've gotten that were covered in some type of residue that made them harder to paint off the spot. I think the terrain in the box is also really nice quality, and it looks really good. Like I said, I think it's mostly unnecessary though, and the walls themselves are a little bit too thick and large, I feel like. Or, you know, with the way you're forced to build it, you can't really spread it out super well too. If it was just like a whole bunch of smaller scattered terrain, I feel like that would have been better overall than what they ended up doing. I think the sort of slightly thicker than normal paper tokens though are very, very lazy. Very lazy on their part. The chipboard board, the playing board, is very nice though. It's very nice. And the quality of the plastic too is alright. You know, the plastic itself is alright. So quality is going to get a nice 4 out of 5 on the Scrumpy score. I think it's good enough, or you know, good enough for what you pay. Especially, you know, it is a premium. You are paying a premium price, right? And on to the next category, it's going to be playability / balance. How can you play this as a standalone, in fact, fully starter set? The answer is that you can't, and that you literally shouldn't try to, right? Because instead of like I said earlier, instead of giving you more battle line and more usable units for like building an actual functional army, you're instead just given a librarian and are like, here's some psychic powers, have some fun with that, to make up for the fact that you have 4 units and only 2 of them are actual squads, and one of them is a super expensive points wise elite squad and the other is just close range only battle line. Or I think they might be specialist, I'm not sure, but you get the point. It's not really like super playable. Like the Tyranid side is perfectly fine. Maybe could have gone for 1 more squad of Termagants for how much you're paying it, Termagants or Hormagants. And the Space Marines, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, yeah, but it should have had at least like another Intercessor squad in there, especially for how much you're paying, even with the terrain. So playability and balance is gonna have to be a 2. I feel like it's probably balanced on the Tyranid side, but I also could be wrong since I haven't been able to test it myself, and you could just absolutely wipe the Tyranids off with a single round of Terminators. Alrighty then. The Scrumpy score and playability and balance, like I said, is a 2. And how does it compare to other games? Well, for other games, for much cheaper prices, you get way more usually. I'll put some stuff up on the screen. Very, very good. Obviously, like, no terrain in these other sets, right? But that doesn't really matter because you're getting, like, so much stuff to actually play. There's specific games with for only half the price or less. Like, you could buy 2 of the massive firefight starter sets for less than the total cost of just this set and have so much more to do. Or, you know, give one to your friend. You know, you could, like, split the armies. You'd have something to paint and to work on, and then you guys, you know, you can just play together, you know, using 2 of those sets, and it would be infinitely more playable and more value than this set is, you know. Same thing for the bolt action, the black powder ones. You just have a lot more to do, a lot more variety, a lot more customization, since those are modular kits and not really annoying monopose push fit that are set to be in these specific poses that you can't really repose and you can't really do conversions on because they have things like the hands and the fingers even separated. Like that's like actually nuts. As somebody who grew up with the golden age of modular Warhammer kits. But how does it compare to other games? I'm gonna have to give that a 1 on the Scrumpy score. I know that's absolutely brutal, but like it's just, it doesn't compare like at all to other game systems that you can get for much cheaper. But alright then, and on to personal score and final thoughts. Excuse me, personal score then overall score. Personal score is gonna have to be a well, let me think about this for a second. Well, I'm just really angry about how I'm gonna have to like print out battle line, 3D print out some like scans of battle line to make this an actually playable set, and how you can't just play with it normally straight out of the box because you get so little variety in units and troops. I think that's very, very aggravating. But for overall score, I'm also just gonna have to give it a 2. Like I apologize. I'm trying not to be balanced. I'm trying to judge this very objectively. But from what I'm seeing from this box, what I've looked through so far, that is my honest thoughts and opinions on it. So the overall Scrumpy score is gonna have to be a either a 2 or 3. I'm gonna give this a 2, so I'm sorry. I'm honestly sorry. You know, it's a great gift and everything too. I'm not gonna complain about that, but just for the sake of reviewing it, I'm gonna have to say this is a 2 out of 5 overall. 2 out of 5 Scrumpy. Love me Scrumpy. Anyway, yeah, that was the unboxing and review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you're looking to tune in next time when I show off the at least fully assembled and then fully painted armies. Like I said, I will 3D print out some scans of some intercessors to be the battle line, some more Tyranids, Termagants, Hormagaunts to do stuff with. So I'll have hopefully be presenting full 2 armies in the full terrain on a mat, nice and fancy in the next video, or whatever else I'm doing for the next video. And that's it. I hope to see you guys next time, and I